This is episode number 94 at the BS Machine. Welcome back, guys, and have I got a special guest for you on this mighty fine episode. I've actually had this guy on a couple of times. I've had him on I think this is our third go at it, and the reason I wanted to get him back is because I just find it so incredibly interesting, the journey that this guy is on. I've had him on a few times. One of the episodes was called Don't Mess with Crystals, and then the other one was called something else about dragons and whatever. But Jono is a mate of mine who's one of the most intelligent and inspiring people that I've had the pleasure of knowing. And it's so interesting because the stuff that we're talking about today, it's so out of this world and it's hard to believe. But then I go, there must be some merit to it, because this guy is an intelligent dude. He knows his shit. He's done, he's a osteo, he's a full out spiritual dude, but also he lives very much in the 3D world as well. And he's just got this knack of really understanding all these different dimensions and what's really going on with the world. So I'm really looking forward to picking his brain and just seeing what's really going on in the world. And, from your point of view as a listener, I just suggest to listen with an open mind, open heart, and whatever you get from it, you get from it. But don't be one of those people that are totally closed off to anything. I really implore you to open up and really listen to what Jono has to say today, because I believe it's really important information for those of us that choose to check out this path. So Jono, welcome to the BS Machine, man. On to have you on again.
Hey Tommy, nice to be back again.
Good, man. So where are you now? What are you doing? I'm looking at your tanned face, and you're back in Bali?
Yeah, I'm back in Indonesia already a couple months after a pretty long journey, actually.
Yeah. So you basically went all over Europe. You basically followed all these crystals around, and you
Yeah,
went around opening
just,
crystals.
not just crystals, also how do you say, portals,
Mm-hmm.
uh, closed ones. So I also went to Thailand and Burma, and back in Indonesia, and in 2 weeks I'm gonna go to New Zealand. So it's been a long trip. I didn't expect to do this last year, but it's good because I have a sense of purpose now, even though it's a pretty solitary path, yeah. And it's like, yeah, you say I'm intelligent, blah blah blah, but I could also be crazy. I accept that there's this possibility. But what's really helped me is that I have this spiritual teacher who's reached the fourth level samadhi already, or jhana, like they call it in Buddhist tradition, Theravadan Buddhist. So he has a perception that most of us mortals don't have, and he's helped me basically confirm a lot of my own visions, and told me about the things I do from his perspective, and that's been really helpful because he gets it, and so he was also the first person to tell me. This was in, I think, middle of 2019. So he doesn't have a name for the dark ones, for the people at the top of the planet. So he calls them Illuminati, but it's not specifically them. Yeah, like it's different factions, different beings also. But he said, okay, they're gonna start soon. The end of the cycle is gonna start soon. So in 2019, I was like, okay, and then when I saw the whole COVID operation start, then I was like, okay, that's how they're gonna do it. So yeah.
So can I just ask, well, first off, I just want to ask, what is it that you're actually doing? Like when you're traveling around the world and you're saying you're opening portals and helping crystals reopen and whatnot, what are you doing this? Did this all start off of an inner feeling, or is this like a path that you chose to follow, or
Well,
how did it all come about?
to begin, this was in let's say, the beginning of last year. It kind of just fell on me. Like I didn't really expect it. Of course, I was always, I was always doing meditation and these kind of inner practices, but I didn't. And I had this feeling ever since I was a kid. I couldn't really put my finger on it, but I knew I had to do something for the planet and on a global scale, not on a local scale. But I couldn't really remember what I was supposed to do. And then I got blasted. I got blasted by visions, mainly from these. So initially it was dragons. So like I have this connection to them quite strong. And then after that, as I was connecting to them, then a second set of beings came to me, and they just blasted me for one day from the top right. So noble, man, such noble beings, kind of like white and gold ray. So these beings are. So what they told me, they're from the 12th dimension or 12th density, and they're called Arnakin. So they're like the beings that, in general, come to new planets and manifest major crystals. So they are really key in the architecture of these crystal grids. And I would say probably also help with the building of the pyramids and megalithic structure, because we live on a planet that has, as you know, so many megalithic structures around the world. And it's funny because the older you go in time, the higher the technology required to build them, like the Gizeh pyramid, for example. It would be a bitch to build it again in this lifetime. But incredible structures that have a lot of mathematical codes within the structures, but are placed on specific nodes. Because as I understand it, yeah, like the esoteric saying that when you say as above, so below, it applies to certain physics, yeah. And so, I mean, the one we use now, it's moved on to quantum physics, but in the field of, let's say, plasma cosmology, you can see that the electromagnetic laws are scale invariant. So what that means is that from the quantum, atomic, molecular level, all the way to galaxies, they operate on the same basis, yeah, some kind of geometry.
Who's they? Sorry, what did
The structures, these,
structures? Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So basically, they're uh, the basis of this kind of like physics is linking motion, frequency, vibration, harmonics. So the geometry of all these structures works on something that we haven't really studied or researched enough. But there's a deeper, shall we say, torsional physics that is the foundation of this grid and ley lines. And so I think Tesla touched a little bit upon it, and part of this grid is linked to these crystals. So what do I do? It's not just me, by the way. We're a small group of people, and I don't think I would have been able to do this on my own. So I'm grateful, like, to this small group, and I think, yeah, I don't really have a life anymore. This has become like my main purpose, and
Oh, it
it's
sounds like a
cost me all
mission.
my savings also. Like, fuck, I've been, traveling and not really working that much, but just doing this because what happened is after I got blasted by these beings, um, the the planet started connecting to me, and so I call her Yara, yeah, like because that's the name she gave me, like her original name. So Yara asked me to come to a specific place in Papua to help through these lion beings to help reactivate her emerald crystal heart. But not long after, she also came to me at 3 a.m. and woke me up and asked me to go to war. And she said, she said, you kept some darkness in your soul in this life, and I need you to use this darkness. And I said, what for? And basically to kill major evil beings. And I was like, can I just walk the path of love, like and she's like, no, I need you to do this. So she called me, she drafted me to go to war, basically, but it was not a physical war, it was an interdimensional war. And since 1 year, this is I didn't think I would be doing this, but I've been killing a lot of demons. Some of them boss level ones.
Mm.
And the first
It's
one that I did, it took me months to recover, and I nearly died. So
crazy.
yeah, so
It
in
sounds like a computer game.
I think reality is crazier than these computer games, man. Like I don't know if people realize, but like we
Mm.
live in a, it's like we live in a Truman Show planet.
It is. Well, I mean, all you need to do is walk down the street and you look at people's faces and look at what people are doing. And quite often, I feel like I'm in the fucking Truman Show. Like
Or
you
the
wake
Twilight
up,
Zone.
yeah, Twilight Zone. I know, and it is. You go do the same things. You have the same emotions. You see the same people, same fucking conversations, the same little bubbles, the same this, the same that, and you wake up and you fucking do it all again. But and it is. I mean, look, this idea around different dimensions, I mean, I 100% believe in that because I've experienced these dimensions myself, you know, and so if people think about dimensions, I mean, the best way I reckon to explain it is one dimension is the 3D dimension, right, where you can touch things and grab things and hold things, and there's a density, there's a physicality to it. And
Hmm.
then would you say that the fourth dimension is, you know, maybe like imagination or visualization or
Hmm.
the quantum? I mean, what would be how in terms of dimensions and stuff? I mean, what you know, how does it level up? And we don't need to go through all of them, but how does it actually level up in terms of these dimensions that you're talking about?
I would say the higher you go, the more subtle it becomes.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, form disappears.
Mm.
And so, of course, all these frequencies have beings living inside, but their bodies or their consciousness relate to space and time differently than ours. So we are in a 3D world, shall we say. Some people say the fourth 4D is the time dimension,
Mm.
depending on which, I guess, which physics you use. So we went from Newtonian to Einstein to quantum physics now. But I think what's important for your listeners to understand is that the cabal that controls this world functions on a completely different physics.
And
Yeah, like
what's cabal?
um, like the darkness, like you would say, the top of the pyramid. You know, this pyramid with an eye inside.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been involved. I've been in contact with them in a, how do you say, in a battle mode for the last year. So I've become kind of like an expert, unwittingly and not really wanting it about them. There's different factions, but
And can I just ask? Sorry, man, because almost because you know how apparently love is love, joy, gratitude,
Mhm.
all that stuff. Apparently, that's the highest vibration
Yeah.
of unity, connectivity, and whatever, right? So, what happens if, like, let's say we have a conflict in the 3D world
Hmm.
and we go into that conflict with pure love, pure joy, pure connectivity, right? In unity, then that heals all, apparently, right? So can you not do that the same thing in the other dimensions where you just take love there and you go, hey, demon one, dude, what's going on? What do you
Give him
need?
a hug.
Yeah, give him a hug, man. Does it not work?
Not really. No. I think this time right now is a time of battle. It's a war. It's a cosmic war that started a long time ago, and we're getting to its resolution.
Mm,
So not everybody is meant to fight. Yeah, not everybody is a guardian.
mm,
But I have a friend who's Australian, actually, Hamish. He's part of the group that is doing this grid work with me.
mm.
We're talking about the source of evil and the balance between light and darkness. And he had an interesting take. He said that what if, when everything is created, all the timelines are not set? You give free will to all the beings. And so you're basically free to do what you want in this creation under the laws of karma, yeah, under certain also natural laws. But somehow some people abuse love. So some beings start to go into a selfish, dark path, and then it becomes really distorted, like, and then it can go so far into evil and darkness that it becomes aberrant. So somehow there is a class of beings that is also created that are supposed to maintain this balance and check these evil beings. And the way they check these evil beings is not by hugging them, because I think the highest, darkest beings, they cannot be transformed through love. They've gone too far. And also there is this idea of retribution, because they've done so much evil things that they have to understand, not understand, they have to experience the suffering that they've caused by suffering themselves. And if you hug them, it doesn't make them suffer. You know, you just open a bridge from your heart to their black hearts. And this is not, at least for me, this is not my function. You know, like, I understand not everybody can be a loving yogi, you know. And I would, you know, like, doing what I do now, like, I'd rather be an international DJ or, you know, podcaster.
Yeah.
Because really, it's really not easy. You pay a heavy price. Like, I they can kill you also, you know, and it's heavy, these attacks. That's the thing. Like, a lot of people who started working with me left the work because they got attacked right after, psychic attacks. You had, I don't know if you realize the amount of darkness that is on this planet right now, and it's getting bigger and bigger. More and more demons are coming through, and people are getting crazy. Like, everybody's fucking crazy now.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It seemed like it was starting to die down, but it seems like it's getting like there's some gnarly shit going on, man. And even if you, I mean, do you know what? Even it's funny because as you say that, I actually had one of my best mates who sort of plays around with this quantum physics and quantum world and stuff. He plays around in there quite often, and 2 or 3 years ago, just when he was first starting, he's got a houseboat, and he was up at his houseboat here in Melbourne, and him and his mates started going into these things, and you know they encounter these dark forces and whatever. And over the next 3 weeks, it was the same thing. He got fully attacked. His dog died, his dog drowned underneath the houseboat. All this shit happened. He came back to Melbourne, all like one after the other. All this stuff happened where he felt like he was being chased and things were trying to fucking kill him.
Yeah.
You know, and
How is
then
he now? How is he now?
he's gone to he's totally better. Like he just stopped messing. He stopped messing with that shit. Yeah. So it's it's a I mean I've seen my mates go through it. And I mean look, for myself, I don't really have a motivation to, you know, I don't have that calling like what you did, you know. And maybe that will happen one day. Huh?
We're here to play.
Yeah, man. It's and it's like I just don't have that calling right now, and maybe that calling will come. I'm not sure, but I know, you know, you personally, and that's what I find so intriguing is so incredible that that you've just gone off and followed this calling, you know.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, it's not like the stuff that you're doing, people would look at you and go, "Oh, Jono, thank you so much for fucking killing the demons," or you know, it's like you're doing shit that most people would be like, "Dude, you're fucking crazy," you know. But then there's the select few who understand what you're doing, and
It's also, there's, you know, I'm on record. I don't know if it was on your podcast, but I said that new colors would appear on rainbows.
yeah,
Remember? And I also talked about the Russia-Ukraine war
yeah,
before it happened, like on
yeah,
our last podcast.
we did,
Yeah, so there's a few things that confirm a little bit what I do. Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe I'm not crazy.
yeah, and you would keep seeing evidence of that.
of those colors.
No, keep seeing evidence of the fact that you're not crazy.
Well, I think, if what's the definition of crazy? I think is when you're not in the majority.
Mm.
So, and I think now the majority is crazy. So I guess we are the uncrazy now.
And
It's
yeah.
really it's really subjective.
Mm.
But
And
when
so,
you
dude, so tell me, because I think a lot of people would, and there is a lot of talk going around. Well, not a lot of talk. If you decide to look down any sort of rabbit hole, there is quite a few people that are talking about Armageddon or the end of the world or whatever. There's quite a bit of talk around that, and I'd be really interested to see where you think where are we going? Like what's next?
It's funny because recently a few of my patients and some acquaintances have called me out of the blue to ask me the same question. Because either they've had dreams or premonitions, or some of their friends that are psychic have seen things, and they're asking me, the main question is, when is it happening and where is safe? So, like my teacher says that this is the third pralaya. That's how he calls it, because he comes from a Hindu tradition, Hindu Buddhist, yeah. So the end of cycle, those long cycle, and this one is a 15 season cycle that is ending, always ends with big destruction. But you have to look at the situation. If you look at our planet, it's completely corrupted. I think maybe a few years ago people could have thought that it's kind of okay, it's not a big deal. But now I think the masks have fallen, and we realize that there's something really dark running the show. One of the strength of these dark ones is being hidden, and so they managed to be hidden for a long time, and how do you say, if we come back to the grid that we talked about, yeah, this pyramid and megalithic grid, you can see that some really advanced beings set those up, but then something happened because in a lot of these pyramids, for example, the crystals have disappeared. A lot of them had crystal tops, and so this ties into the whole vaccination story also, because if you look at the physics that they're using, they're harnessing the energy of space itself, yeah, and so they can use the whole planet as a weapon, and not just the Yara and her geology, but also the beings that are on Yara. And the most powerful beings on Yara are humans. So they've been harnessing the energy of the humans that have been jabbed, because there's a simple experiment that you can do. I've been seeing some patients. I've been doing a bit of healing work a little bit now that I'm back in Bali, and there's simple apps that you can download where you can check Bluetooth signals. And so, from what I've seen so far, I mean, I don't have enough of a control group and enough subjects, but from what I've seen so far, is that people that have been jabbed emit a Bluetooth signal, one signal per jab, and somehow it's also, the Bluetooth signal stays after they die. So it means that whatever nanotechnology that's been put into the vaccine assembles into something in your body, which which makes you become an antenna. But it's not powered by the energy of your body, because it stays after you die. Yeah. So they're using, I think, a Tesla type wireless electricity transfer that he worked on, where you need emitters around the planet, but then that basically covers the whole planet and basically links all the Bluetooth signals from all these people. So I don't know how many people on the planet now are emitting these signals, but they're all part of this new grid that they've created. Because you have to understand that these demons and alien and humans that have made deals with them, they don't function with Yara's crystalline original organic structure. So what they did is they parasited the grid in a way that you could say terraform the place so that it fit them more. And also they've done this to humans now, because I see them as demonic, reptilian, insectoid type beings, and a lot of them come from the infinitely small dimensions and also from black holes. So this is what, for example, what CERN is doing, is creating mini black holes that don't live for too long, but they're basically portals. And you could say like an atomic bomb is also a portal for a little lapse of time. And so all these beings show, I don't know how you can call them. Let's call them the dark ones. So the dark ones have established control over this important grid of the planet, and they're using it in one aspect for social engineering, and another to harness the energy of space-time itself. Yeah, so to weaponize it, and so the big nexus of this grid right now is Saudi Arabia, the Black Crystal there. Also, Temple Mount in Jerusalem. That's a big one because Solomon's temple is underground there, and the key element that basically links the acoustic, gravitational, electromagnetic field, nuclear energy in this grid is crystals. Like there were crystals that were used in those. I mean, even the Giza pyramid is made of granite, and so when you compress these quartz rocks, because of the piezoelectric property of the quartz, it starts to emit energy and even light. But then what you do is you have this kind of specific crystals that act as superconductors. So they will basically absorb the light into itself and create electromagnetic field inside the crystal. And if I go back to, let's say, the story of Amrita, which is a Hindu story, where they, like, on one point there is demons pulling the snake, and on another there is three gods that are pulling the head of the snake on the other side, and it's coiled around one of the holy mountains that they have, and Vishnu is standing in the middle. And so this movement of this tug of war, yeah, like of pulling between demons and gods, it creates the immortality nectar, the Amrita. But I think it's just a symbolic way of representing this torsion, because the physics that these dark ones are using is a torsional physics. So basically, vortex of energy that are interlocking all around the universe. And so we are also a vortex, but the planet also is. So they're harnessing the vortex or the inner crystal, I would say, of people via their physical body by injecting them. So that's what I don't really understand, but like there's a clock ticking. So I think from all the work that I've done this last year, I've saw, and not just me, like other people in my team also, we saw these dark ones being able to look at the future and using this technology, yeah, and artifacts also. So they're looking at a timeline that suits them, so where they stay in power. So they've created an artificial grid, and even it's a little bit strange, but I think they're destroying the old grid that they had, the parasitic grid, and they've created a new one, and they will shift the old to the new. Because if you look at Notre Dame in Paris, it burned, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Then the Georgia Guidestone, 9/11. I think these towers were part of the grid also, like a kind of like a battery structure. So they need the harmonic oscillators, but also capacitors. It's a technological parasitic grid. Yeah. What else did they destroy? The Guidestones, the Twin Towers, Notre Dame. And they've built, if you look, now I think is a good time to really study occult and symbolism, because this is how there's many factions, but the more you study this, the more you get to a solution. This is my take on it, like to understand who is raping us, who is raping the planet, and why.
Why?
Also the fact that they want us to eat insect steaks also, because a lot of demons incarnate as insect or use insect. I had a personal experience of this when I was fighting one of them. He took control of big ants, you know, really, really big ones. And they started attacking me, and I was surprised, you know. And I looked at them. It was at night, so I put my torchlight, and they looked like in a super, super frenzy.
Hmm.
And so there is a link between one of these demons, Lucifer, with insects. So the other one, Satan, is more snake, reptilian archetype. And so these are the two kingpins at the top of the dark ones. But there's the people that are really a problem. I would say are the I could call them vampires. You know, they don't
Mm.
live short lives like we do. They live much longer time, and so their plans is always it's long term. And so somehow there's a clock ticking for them where they have to rush certain operations like they did for the COVID, like they did for the vaccines. They're doing the Ukraine war right now
Mm.
because if we look at the humans, I don't believe descent from chimpanzees. I think this was a manipulation.
Yeah.
So if I say like this planet is not a regular planet, it was supposed to be a magic realm. We were once creators, like all the species that you see on this planet. I mean, it's mixed with DNA from other
Mm.
constellations, but a lot of them were created at crystals. So, for example, dragonflies were created at the emerald crystals. Wolves were created at the indigo crystal. I mean, you can look at these different rays with different families. Yeah.
Mm.
So, what was I saying about the
So
dark one?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So no, you got to the end of it. I mean, you got the gist of it out, and then, but I guess the only thing I didn't really get from your answer in terms of, I get where this is all going, where the dark ones and all that type of stuff. But in terms of, is there like this end of the cycle? You said there's 15
Yeah,
seasons and the end of the cycle and whatever. So what is it that that means? Like, is it basically the world's gonna fucking blow up, or what's like, where are we at? Like, what's gonna happen? Is what's the end of the cycle, and one, what are people supposed to do, or is it just like we're fucked?
I think a little bit of both.
Mm.
The way I see it, it's very tricky to predict the future because you empower it also by saying it.
By saying it, yeah.
Yeah, but
But okay, so instead of predicting it, then what is it that we should be doing now, as a human population or as a community?
well,
What
I
is it?
think in this life, whatever your talent is, whatever your purpose is important to do it. Like the Bhagavad Gita says it. Just do your purpose without thinking about the results, but do it fully. And I think if all of us do it, we're able to go through this end of cycle unscathed. But also mm, try to feel for what do you live for? Just for your own inner desires or for something bigger?
Mm.
And I think right now it's a good time to live for something more than just yourself,
Mm.
because it's a very key time, even karmically. There's everybody wants to be here, man. Like there's so many beings portaling in right now, but also guardian beings that are coming back. And like I was saying before about the Ukraine war, if this is a magic realm, humans are reflections of Yara. We are her children. So she also has organs like us. So her womb is the Black Sea. The real
Mm.
name of her womb is Humu, actually. And so there's a reason why Ukraine is always a field of war, yeah? Like why they actually created the war there and are maintaining it. Um, because the occult aspect is always key to understand what is happening. So they're doing this thing over her womb because the womb is the most powerful organ. If you want to affect time, especially, so they're also parasiting a lot of the crystals at this, well, less and less now because of the work we're doing. So right now, for example, the yellow one is parasited, the purple one, the worst is the orange. The orange is in the Middle East. But the more these crystals come back online, the more people's inner crystals also change and consciousness also change. But also these crystals are portal, so they're interdimensional doors for good beings to come back, and loads of guardians are coming back. And for example, dragons, lions, phoenixes, elves, mermaids, fairies, Pegasus, like archangels, angels, seraphim, all these beings are guardians. And so when you are a guardian, there's a certain warrior aspect to your soul. And it's not every season that you can express it. And right now, yeah, like the Bhagavad Gita says, like if you're born in a time of war, what an honor, what luck do you have? Like to be able to actually fight for something that is so much bigger than your small individual self. For me, this has been a real gift. Like I do it for Yara. Like I stopped living just for myself. But it's easy because I don't have a girlfriend, I don't have kids. So it's easy for me to be kamikaze and just do what she asked me to do. And I feel it as an honor that she asked me to go to war for her.
It
But my
chose you.
war is not physical. But I feel like the violence that you see, for example, in Ukraine, is going to be maybe more global at a certain time. That's why they're keeping it. It could easily end tomorrow if there were negotiations. But the deep state of the USA is one of the main muscle of these dark ones. They actually built that war. The Ukrainian government was their puppet since 2014, so they made it happen in a way. They because they needed it also to conjure a major demon, but that was stopped. And I think what's going to happen is, there was a bunch of biolabs also there.
Yeah.
And so what's coming, I think, is a lot of diseases, like even in Indonesia, foot and mouth disease.
Yeah.
Yeah, a comeback. They're going to do the new variant. And also a lot of people that have health problems because of the jabs now, they're going to blame it on the new diseases or on COVID to push for new injections. I don't know. I think they went a little bit too fast with the vaccination operation, and they realized that people would probably not take the booster. So they're moving on to their contingency plan, like we talked about in the last in the last podcast. So controlled demolition of the economies. This is happening. I mean, look at Sri Lanka right
Yeah.
now. So also, oil is at $100 a barrel, which happened in the past, but you didn't have to pay so much for it at the gas station. So that's also part of their plan. There is the chess pieces are moving on a global scale, and so this war also is building a lot of hate towards Russia mainly. But for everybody that's hating Russia right now, maybe your tribe is going to be the next one that they want people to hate. So we have to understand that Russia is not the enemy. These dark ones are the enemy of the human race and of the planet. And we, collectively as humans, we have the power to fuck them up and to clear this infection from our planet, because she's been in a bad state for so long. And she's not the type of being that can fight specifically. She needs an immune system. And so I'm calling all the white blood cells that are listening, all the guardians, like if you remember this, if you remember who you are, to the battle stations, like let's fuck this darkness up. Let's clear this infection. We have the power to do it. I don't know. I think the next 5 years are really key. Like, so from now until 2027 will be the crux of the epoch we live in. And in terms of human years, this is huge. This is really a key moment. I feel so honored to be alive at this time,
Oh,
actually.
it's
Even though,
unbelievable. Yeah.
even
Yeah.
though I don't think the heavy times have really started. So
And okay, so the white blood cells that are listening, which is all the protectors of the planet and all that type of stuff. I mean, it's great to say to your battle stations, but what does that actually mean? What do we do?
a lot of people want a method, yeah. But I don't think this is the time for method. I think if you feel that you are a guardian, then wherever you are, there's something that you can do. Like whatever your talent is, This is your path.
So, which I love that you said that before. That the way to raise the consciousness, raise the vibration of the planet, is to dive deep into what it is you love and what your purpose is and what you're here
Yeah.
to do, and that is basically a really good message to put out there, because obviously, I mean, when you're living your dream, when you're living in purpose, and you're being of service to yourself, to the community, then immediately your vibration raises straight up, and that, if more of us are doing that, then obviously that's going to be the immune system of the earth, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. It's really crossroad, yeah, crossroad time where we're at, and so this depends on. I would say the theme of this time is confronting darkness. So darkness externally, but also internally. Like we feel this evil all over the planet. Yeah, I think all of us do.
Big time.
But we are part of it. You know, we're
Because we
also
feel the evil within ourselves too.
yes. And so, I mean, the way I use it, because I have a big dark part also, but I use this darkness to fight. It's more an external journey for me. But I think because I did the work internally in the previous decade for me, and everybody that is around the world, I think you right now the canals are open, so there's no. You also realize when you look at the news and the history and the media, you also realize that they lied about so many things. You know,
Man,
like you also realize that your government it doesn't give a shit about you, like it's under orders. You know, like so your government is kind of your enemy. So put that in your mind. The media, especially, are really your enemy, so if you accept that and then you look at also I'm from the shall we say the medical sphere. I look at all the medical practitioners that have damaged so many people, whether by ignorance or by wanting to keep their job. I think right now, don't look at your. I think your life in just human years. Look at it as an extremely important incarnation in the timeline of your soul, and it's nothing like 70, 80 years. It's really nothing in the grand scheme of things. But you are put in a certain set of situation and conditions that are not easy to make certain choices because that's what happened. The darkness came into your life and asked you to make certain choices. So you can you can decide which way to go. You don't even have to look for a path. It's coming to you and it's going to come even closer to you in the next few years. I would say one important thing is to move out from big cities. Move out from the big electromagnetic fields, the towers, the 4G, 5G, soon 6G, because it's going to get heavier. Like when they switch their parasitic grid to the new one that they've built. So, you know, like in Dubai, in Qatar, in China, in Astana, in Kazakhstan, in the USA, like they've built new structures that will basically that they will use as weapons. Um, I think maybe you know the cataclysm that happened on Yara in the past. Maybe it was just her inflammation response. So when they really damage her, like they're doing right now, she goes into inflammation. Like it's good to look at our body to see to understand the planet. When we have inflammation, we have a lot of water, we have a lot of red, we have a lot of white blood cells. Globally, it corresponds to what's happening right now. It's the inflammation process before the fever. I think the fever is coming soon.
Yeah, yeah, man, so interesting. So, I mean, look, you know, there's a part of me that just wants to, which I think is, there's a part of that to all of us where, you know, you just want to go, can you just show me, you know, what it is, you know, can you show me, can you put it down on paper and show us the steps and whatever. But then there's also this other part of me that when you're talking is we just got to have trust in our own guidance. You know, we've got to have trust in what we're being guided to do. And you can always tell when when your guidance comes from a dark place or when it comes from your authentic truth. You can always tell. Like if you tune in to your guidance or whatever you want to call it, when you're getting it does, it feels clear and it feels like a crystal that's sort of rolling through you and going, just go do this, and you're like, wow, that feels totally natural for me. And then the dark stuff, it feels when you're getting dark, not thoughts, but dark, when you feel like there's a dark part of you that's trying to guide you, it feels messy and it feels there's going to be conflict
There's
there and
tension.
whatever. It's tension. Yeah.
Tension.
Yeah.
Tension in
Yeah.
the body, I think, is a good is
Tension
a
in the body. Yeah.
good gauge of it.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, like if you look at the external world and you see that you cannot really trust authority or regular authority, then what can you trust? And I would say it's your inner authority.
In a and
So
you know what, I've spoken to so many people, especially over the last 6 months. They've like gone, I can't watch the news, I can't read the news, I can't. It's just like it's pissing people off. And the perfect example the other day when I don't know if you saw, but that thing with Biden when he was reading something out and he goes, end of quote, repeat line. Did you see that?
yeah,
I was just like, fucking hell, man. Is this for real? And it actually is for real. You know, that is scary shit. Like they've literally put a fucking puppet onto the throne of the most powerful country in the world. Like
but
what
he
the,
doesn't know the decision.
what? No, I know, but would you choose someone like surely you choose someone better than that, you know? Like it's just like wow, dude. It's just you like oh, man, I could do a better job.
I think these dark ones, they've lost the pulse of the people. I
Yeah.
don't think they understand us because one of the properties of darkness, is that it has this self-destructive aspect and a certain craziness. So I think they've gone berserk crazy. And
Yeah.
at certain levels, there's so many factions of them, yeah. But I think some of them have gone completely crazy, so they don't fully. They despise us so much that they're like, fuck it, we'll just put this vegetable as president. We'll cheat on the elections. We'll put this guy, this guy, this guy, and this is their what they need their mission when they're in power. But I think they don't fully get the humans. And I think what is really reassuring for me and gives me hope, first of all, is these rainbows with new colors. I'm
To
like,
be
okay,
honest, and I think a lot of people will agree. When I'm seeing rainbows at the moment down here in Melbourne,
yeah.
holy shit, they're like stunning, like unbelievable.
But
There's two, there's three. I'm just like, whoa. And the other day I was out, rainbow, um, look out to the ocean, dolphins were just rolling up and down, like really close to shore. There was no one around, it was raining. I'm just looking out there going, I'm pretty sure this was meant only for me. And I felt so much gratitude. And I love those moments where you know, it's like you look around the world. It's a fucking mess. Like people are all over the shop, but then when you have little moments like that, it's just you're like, fuck. This is one of those moments that my soul is gonna like hook into. This is what it's all about, you know.
But
And
it was like this before, man. This planet was incredible. Like before the darkness came, because when you look at the rainbow, which color is it's the black color.
yeah,
So darkness is what breaks the rainbow. And this is we've been living in a dark world, like we just didn't really realize it. But one interesting thing is that black comes from red. I know that science says differently, but black is the perversion of red, and red is the most masculine of all colors. So you understand also sacrifices, why they need blood, like in specific places at specific time. They understand this rainbow magic. And so there's also that prophecy of the rainbow warriors, when from North American tribes, when the world becomes so dark, then the rainbow warriors will rise, basically, and fight this darkness to be able to bring back the planet into a healthier balance, yeah, a healthier aspect of her. And I think she needs us to help her.
And we do that by getting into our true purpose, following our purpose.
I think you can go into synchrony with her.
Yeah.
When the darkness, when the Armageddon really hits, what will protect you is your connection to her, and also your psychic magical abilities. Because I'm not gonna get into all the visions I had of Armageddon because it might scare a lot of people. But shit is about to get really mythological. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if you think the world is weird right now, I think in a few years you'll be like, wow, even Hollywood does not, even the Twilight Zone is not this fucked up.
Not this fucked up. Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, up until that happens, all we can do is just follow our truth, follow our inner truth, inner guidance, and I
Yeah,
think that's a real powerful message. I think, and dude, you know what? Like, I mean, I really just I just want to acknowledge you, Jono, for following your true path, man. Like, it must be, and I'm not pissing in your pocket, but it must be such an incredibly scary, but at the same point rewarding thing that you're doing, because you've literally just gone, cool. I guess this is what I'm doing now. I'm going to travel the world, open portals, clear crystals, and you've built a bit of an army. Who, some of them I know as well, who are just incredible human beings,
yeah.
and you've all just put your hearts together and your energies together, and you really do notice a difference. So it's just fucking unbelievable, man, what you're doing. So thank you.
uh, Nice, kind words from you, man. But I don't, like I don't feel like it's uh, we're just a small cog in a bigger plan. I just sometimes I feel like there's not enough of us, not enough of us. And when you're saying we just have to follow our inner guidance, yes, it's true, but it's also you got to think logistically. Yeah, like you have to like a lot of people, for example, like are stuck in big cities in Ukraine now. They cannot go out because either the Ukrainian army comes and conscripts them, sends them to the front, or there's missiles. So when the shit hits the fan, you have to be prepared. It's not just living day by day in the present. I think it's important to think about communities in nature now, far from big cities, because one of the things that these dark ones want is for you to be in a big city so they can control. I mean, if you look at Shanghai right now, the amount of lockdown and control and crazy is happening there. They want to do this all over the world, and so we need a completely new paradigm to live on this planet. Like it's obvious that this system we had been living under is actually corresponds more to their values, to the predators, than to our race. I think collectively, like as humans, we could live so much easier. We have free energy. We could have free energy using these crystal and these Tesla type structures, and they have it, but the areas of research were closed down. Yeah, so because it doesn't make any money for them, this capitalist system also, I think, corresponds to their pyramid, where the people with actually capital can exploit the people under it. But I think in a healthy planet, we in I really believe that in 20, 30 years, no soul will need any help. It will be like I don't think we have any idea of how it is to the vibration of love, like you were talking about love, that is in a rainbow world. I don't think we can imagine. Maybe like when a woman has a baby, the first feeling of love that she feels for her baby, which we as dudes cannot really imagine. But like I think this vibration of love will be all around the planet. Like it's my feeling, and this is why I'm fighting for, is that the rainbow will come back. But like I said, I think in your podcast before, like it's always the darkest before the dawn.
Yeah.
I
And we
think,
know that to be true. It's always the case in all those superhero movies, isn't it? It's
yeah, like
always, yeah, yeah. Man, it was, and I feel like we're just touching the surface. You know, I'd love to keep going. I'd love to do one of those Joe Rogan 3 hour podcasts, but, but it's, yeah, there's just so much more to tap into. And it was funny the other day. I was at doing this workshop thing, and one of the women came up to me there, and she's like, "Oh, I've been listening to your podcast." And she listened to that last one we did, and she's like, "When are you getting him back on?" And I'm like, "You know what? It's probably time. We've been talking, but it is. It's this subject really feels like it needs more time. But I think we're doing it the right way. As things advance, I'll keep getting you back on,
okay.
and we'll dive deeper into it each time. But man, such an honor to have you on. Is there anything else you reckon people want to hear, or
Yeah, I think what's come from the messages, yeah, from above, should we say, is that we need to connect like collectively. We need to work together to help the planet. Like a rainbow is many colors, yeah. It's red, it's emerald, it's yellow. So all of us have all different colors, and one cannot do it alone. We have to do this collectively.
mm,
And the way that this happens is a lot through sound. Sound has come back a lot as a key, and you as a singer, you should know this.
mm,
And so it's funny because different crystals, major crystals, send rays to different colors, yeah. And so the only one that touches all the colors, so the one crystal that touches the other 14 major ones, there's more crystal than that, but let's call the major ones, is the indigo one in Lapland. And so there is a mantra to empower that color and that crystal. And I sent you the song, so maybe
yeah,
you can play
I'll
it.
I'll put that. I will put that mantra right at the end of the podcast. So this mantra that Jono's talking about now, I'll put the audio on as soon as we finish. It'll be there. And so, what do they do with this mantra? Do they just listen
Man,
to it,
just sing
or
it
they
from the
sing
heart.
along? Sing
But
it
it
from
has
the
to
heart.
be, as loud as possible. Just sing
Yeah.
it, send the vibration of the indigo all around the planet, and
Mm.
it will empower the whole crystal grid. It will basically help the rainbow to come back. If you
I'll
can
be
just do this, like, man, this is great. It helps the planet.
Man, I'll be singing the shit out of that thing. Love it, John. All right, well, and I'll put. Are you cool if I put your Instagram or whatever into the?
Yeah, yeah. The I'm not showing my face because I got attacked. I did like a Instagram interview with this other woman, and as soon as she posted it online, I got so many psychic attacks
Mm.
afterwards that I don't want to deal with this right now.
No, that's
So
fine. So yeah, we'll just.
yeah, but
It'll
like
just be
if people
audio.
want to get in touch or want to help, they can go through Instagram and
Yeah, I'll put all the Instagram notes, also your Instagram handle into the notes, into the podcast. So just go into the notes, and it'll be all there. And and yeah, dude, thank you so much for coming on. You're a
yeah, thanks
legend.
for getting me back.
Yeah,
I hope to see you
awesome,
soon.
Jono.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy, dude. And then so that audio, that mantra that Jono's talking about is going to be on now. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jono. Love you, guts. See you later.
All right, big hug, bro.
Yeah, baby.
Ciao.
Alia Lina Karu